Well, hello everybody. Jamie the Board Game Man. Today we're going to look at a game from the year 2009. It is a 2 to 5 player game from Playroom. Today we're looking at Livingstone. All right, everybody, here we are with Livingstone. Here we go. All righty. All right. So the object of this game is the players travel in a steamboat on a Zambezi to the Victoria Falls. You earn victory points while exploring the country and finding gems. The player with the most victory points wins the game, except there is one exception, and I'll go over that in a minute. All right, so here's the setup. Not much setup, which is a good thing. Place the board out, determine how many dice, or how many players times 2, so you get 2 dice per player. I have a little three-player setup, so you'd only have 6 dice out there. I take these back and I put them in the box. Each player is going to choose a box here, a donation box to the Queen, and with that corresponding color, you're going to go ahead and grab all your tents. These are little tents, okay? And you also start off with $3. You're going to put the steamboat. Here's a little steamboat here. You're going to place that on the first row, and there you have it. And you're going to put the action cards out here. And you also have a bag of gems. Here are the gems. Just kind of grab a few here out of here. You can see there's some of the gems right there. They will be in this bag. All right. So what you're going to do, the first player is going to roll all 6 dice. Okay, I'm going to roll all 6 dice. And you're going to put them in kind of a numeric order. So you're going to place, like, see, we got 1 here. We got a 2, 3. There's no 4s. You have a 5, and then 2 6s. Then the first player is going to proceed on choosing a die. Now, the only thing you got to think about when you're choosing a die, in order for your turn to come back around, say your turn, everyone has a turn, okay? If the dice that are remaining, you need to have a higher number available. So say I chose this 1, it's obvious when this player turns and this player plays, there's going to be a number that's going to be higher than the one I chose. Now, say for instance, I might have chose a 5, okay? This player, this wouldn't happen, but if I chose a 5 and then this player chose a 6 and a 6, I could not get another turn because there's no die left. If they picked a 6 and this picked a 6, for instance, I would not have another turn because there's no dice left over that are higher than the number I have. Of course, they wouldn't be able to play either, so that wouldn't work, but I just wanted to give you an example of how there must be another die. So if I choose like a 2 in this instance, I know I'm still getting another turn because there's 4 dice that are above my number. So I know I'm going to get another turn, okay? All right, so as a first player, we'll say blue is the first player, okay? Let's just say I choose a 1. Now I'm going to give you 4 different options you have on your turn once you choose a die. I chose a 1. First option, I can go ahead and take the dollar amount that's on the die. I can just take $1 and I'm done. That's my turn. Then the next player, green, will look and say, okay, let's see what they want to do. And let's just say they go ahead and choose the 2. Okay? Second option you have, besides doing $1, is you can pull out that many jewels out of the bag. Okay? So this say green says, yeah, I want to pull 2 gems out of the bag, because that's the color. Okay? I pull 2 gems out, and boom. Okay. Now, when you pull gems out of the bag, I see I pulled 2 because I had a 2 on the die. You have the values right here in the bottom of the board. The black ones are just rocks. They're worth nothing. If you have a clear one, it's worth 1. You have a blue one, it's worth 3. And a red one, it's worth 5. So in this case, I'll go over the white one in a second. I have a red and a black. So this will just kind of go in front of me as a discard because that's worthless. But I have a red. So what I can do on my turn, I can decide to hang on to it, which I'll give you the reason why in a second. Or I can cash it out for the dollar amount that's here. Yep, I'll take $5. So I don't put it back in the bag yet. I'm going to put it over here and kind of put it in the discard area. Okay? And then I would get $5. So he would take this 5, and that is another option you have on your turn. Next player, yellow, they go ahead and choose a 3. So he's going to go ahead and choose the 3. Another option you can do on your turn is to take a card. Okay? Now, it does not matter when you take an action card, it does not matter what the number is on the die. You can have 1 through 6 on it, Doesn't matter. It's the only thing you have to make a choice where it doesn't matter what the die roll is. So you can just choose a card and you can look at it. Now, this is the reason why I said you might want to save these, okay? If you get this card here, for every clear one you turn in, you get $1 and a point. For any blues you have, you get $2 and 2 points. For every red, you get $3 and 3 points. So you double up. So not only will you just cash it out, but you also get points. But if you do it this way, you actually lose a couple dollars in the mix. So see, normally the red would be 5, but you're going to get this and the points. You get the $3 and 3 points. So it's a little bit of a give and pull there. So you can either decide to hang on to that for a little while, keep those, okay, until maybe you might get a few more gems, and then you go, okay, I want to cash out. Now, I'm going to talk about this white rock. There is only one white rock in that bag. Say this player is hanging on to this one. This would be discarded. Say he's got a few other ones over here. Let's see, he's got a couple blues over here too. He's getting a little greedy over here. He wants to cash out as much as he can. And I pull out that white rock. Okay, let me see if I can grab it out of here for you. Yeah, there it is. Whoops. Say I pull out the white rock, the one and only one that's in the bag. All gems, discarded and ones that are being saved, all go back in the bag. So that is your little push your luck with you. Okay, I might want to save those, but if someone pulls out that one white rock, all these gems that have been discarded and ones that players have been saving go in the bag, and that's it. So that is a choice you make when saving those gems. If you're lucky enough where someone actually pulls that white rock out of there, you lose it all. So that's something you want to keep in mind. All right, now let's say it's going to go back to blue. We got 3 dice here. He's going to go ahead. Might as well go for the 6 because there's not going to be nothing left over for him. He's going to go ahead and do a 6. The fourth and final option you have to do is you could pitch a tent. How you pitch a tent is in the row of the steamboat. This is when the steamboat comes into play. So say I want to pitch a tent in this row. I'm going to pay the dollar amount that's right here. So I'm going to show you. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but since there's not much on here, I'm going to go ahead and pick it up. That way you can see it. You'll see these dollar amounts. Very good. You can see it right here. So when the boat's right here, it's going to cost you $1 to pitch a tent in this row. $2 if you want to pitch a tent in this row. And you can see at the very end of the game, it's all the way over here. When you get to 6, it's going to cost you $6 to pitch a tent in this area. Once this row is done, then the game ends. Okay. So I want to show you how much it costs per row to pitch a tent. So if we're in the first row here, it's just going to be $1. So I'm going to pay the $1. Okay, because I got $1 last time. So I'm going to pay this $1. Yeah, this is for my previous turn, and I'm going to pitch a tent under the 6 because this is the die roll. So I'm going to take my blue tent, place it on the 6, and I would get the 6 points that's on the left side of that tent that you pitch. Okay, so I would get 6 points. So blue would go up to 6. Okay, that's how that works. Now it's green's turn. Green goes ahead and like, well, I might as well go for the 6 too. I mean, what the heck, So he goes for the 6, and I've already showed you all 4 options. You can either get the dollar amount, grab that many gems, grab a card, or, like I just did, you can pitch a tent, okay? He's going to decide, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'll grab 6 jewels. So he's going to grab 6 jewels out of here. He grabs the 6 jewels. Oh, jeez. That's horrible. 4 blacks, a clear, and a blue. So this would be discarded. This is worthless. I got a blue and a clear. That would be 3. That's 4. I'll go ahead and I'll take the $4. Puts it aside, and you get the $4. Okay. And then the final turn, yellow would grab the 5. And let's just say yellow wants to pitch a tent. He's going to pay the $1 over here. He's going to pitch his tent under the 5 because that's the number on the die, and he's going to get the 5 points. So yellow would go up to 5, like so. Okay? All right. And that would be the end of the round. All the dice have been used. Now, sometimes you might not always use the die. Sometimes people might jump ahead, and then, I might have a 2, I might have a 6 left over. Maybe there's a 2 still sitting here. I won't be able to do it. It goes around again. No one else can use any die. Then the round is over. Okay. After the round is over, you would move the boat to the next row. Now it's going to cost you $2 for each tent that is pitched. Now, why do you want to pitch tents? What's going on with the tent thing? Well, yes, you get points, which is a big deal, because there's not many ways to score points in this game. And you can see there's not many ways to score points. So this is where, but at the very end of the game, which I'll pick this up and show you again, okay, at the end of each row, wish I could use a zoom, I don't think I can use a zoom, is when you get the points as you're going along, the majority of tents that you have in each row, you would get these points that are over here. Kind of hard to see, the gray with white lettering. So you see, you get the most points for 6 tents, but at the end, you only get 2 points if you have majority. Where if the ones, if you pitch a lot of ones down here, you'd end up with 12 points. So that's something you want to keep in mind. So at the end of the game, once it goes past the 6 and the game ends, you're going to do the majority of tents in each row, and you get that amount of points. Just to say that you have a tie. Say there's 2 players that have the same amount of tents in the 10 row here. Let's just say, blue had 3 tents and yellow had 3 tents in this one. They would split that amount. So each player would get 5 points. If you have an odd number, you would round it down. That's how you take care of that. Also, there's also some cards here, some action cards, which I haven't really touched, that give you straight up dollars. So you get $4 for that one. That's a pretty cool one. Or there's ones that give you straight up points. So let's just say this one here. This one gives you 2 points. Okay. This one gives you 3. This one gives you 4. Okay. There's some of these that are pretty cool, like this one here. This allows you to pitch a tent. You still have to pay the dollar amount wherever the boat's at, but you can place it in any row you want. So you pay the $2 and then you place it anywhere you want here. So that's a pretty cool card right there. Okay. You also have this one here. It allows you to grab 3 jewels out of the bag and so on. So there's a few of the action cards that are in here. So you add up all the points at the end here, and you also add up any points that you have on the cards. Now, the most important thing I haven't talked about, which are the chests. Okay, and I did say about when you're donating to the Queen, it's very, very important. When you go to donate to the Queen, it's pretty fun, and I did this during my last game night. We said, for the Queen! And what you would do is you put dollars, not letting anybody else know how much you're putting in there, in the little slot right there. Okay? You see, now you're going to secretly not tell them how much you're putting in there, but you have to tell everybody when you're donating to the Queen. That can be any time during your turn. It does not cost you a turn, doesn't cost you a die, or doesn't cost you anything. It's just any time you can say, for the Queen! And then you secretly put a dollar amount and many coins in there as you want. Okay. Now, and like I said, at the end of every round, this moves up, moves up, moves up at the end of the round until finally you get to 6. And then after you play that round, the game is over. Now, one thing I want to mention, which is kind of cool. Let's just say, for instance, we had some tents over here. And let's put a green one here. Okay. And say the steamboat is right here. There is one action card here I wanted to mention. This is kind of cool. And this did not come up in my game night. Is this one here allows a steamboat to go back 1 space. If someone has this, okay, you'll play the round out, and then when someone plays it goes back over here. What happens is you get, at the end of this round, once you bring it back at the end of that round, you get those points again. So say it goes back 1, you would get the 1 point for the green, 2 points for the yellow, 3 points for the blue, 4 points for the yellow. Again, because remember, you just got those points. It was up here, but you played that card and went back here. Now you get those points again. So just a little FYI on that. That is pretty cool. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the chest here. I didn't want to forget that little rule there. In these chests, at the very end of the game, I'm talking the very end of the game, after you've already decided how many points you have. Let's just say yellow's at 30, green is at 37, and blue is at 33. Let's just say that. We've done all the points over here. We've counted all the points on the cards. Now what we're going to do, each player is going to open up their chest and see how much they've donated to the Queen. And it's pretty cool. It opens right here. You're going to go ahead and take out all the money you have in there. Everyone's going to count how many coins they have in their chest that they've donated to the Queen. If you are the player that gave the least amount of money to the Queen, you are automatically eliminated. Yes, you heard that right. Eliminated from the game. So if you were the green player and you gave the least amount to the queen, you are eliminated from the game. And that would mean the next highest up, blue, would end up winning the game. Woo! Now, if green had, green wasn't the least amount, then green would end up winning the game, obviously. But if green, let's just say green in this case was the least amount, then the next up player would win the game. So pretty crazy, but you can't forget the queen. The queen will make you pay. That is for sure for not paying her. So, and that's it. And that is the game of Livingstone. So let's head on up to the game room, and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so my final thoughts on Livingstone. I really enjoy this game. My very last board game night, I decided to go ahead and break this out. And I want to give a big thank you to two friends that I actually watch their channel, and that's Matt Wilkins and Jason from Board Game Mechanics. Two wonderful channels to watch when it comes to board games. They both had this on there, and I've had this game forever. And I went ahead and I rewatched their episodes, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bust this game out finally. It's been sitting in my closet, so finally I broke it out. And talk about a great game. I mean, the whole game long, you're thinking about that doggone queen. I mean, I was like, did I put enough in there? And luckily, we had a 5-player night. So I got 5 players playing this game. And I was the 4th highest. So I was like, so I almost was the one that was eliminated. And I ended up being a 2nd place by 1 point. So that would have been like, oh, if I would have had the least amount. No, the person that ended up winning the game did not have the least amount, so she did not get eliminated. So the person that was in first actually did win in first. So there was another player that was not in the first section that got eliminated. But I mean, the whole time I'm thinking, did I put enough money in there? Did I put enough money in there? And it's crazy. I kept thinking about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, the whole game, everyone's going, for the queen, for the queen. I'm sitting there going, did I put enough in there? But then I started thinking, okay, I got to start getting some points on the board, because I was starting to take some money, to get some money at first. And then one lady, one of the players, she was all about the gems. I mean, she reached in that bag so many times, like, man, you're all about the gems, man. She's all about the gems. But she had gotten 2 of those cards. They gave you the gem and the points. And she was the one that ended up winning by 1 point. So all those gems, she was cashing in, all that stuff. She still ended up only winning by 1 point. I was right behind her. And then we had another player that was right behind me. So 3 of us are 1 point from each other from the lead. So it was really close. I know one of them, poor Mark, I think he might have won the game if I didn't put my last tent. I can't remember what row it was on. But me putting my last tent on there, because I had the majority, we were both tied for it. And he had put 1 more on there at the very end in the 6th row. And I'm like, no, I need those points. So I went ahead and put mine on the 6th row, and we both split the points. And me doing that ended up kind of pushing us both back, because we didn't both have, because if I would have let him have that 10, however many points it was in that row, he would have jumped in ahead and he would have won. But since I went in there and cut it in half, he ended up being too short, because I believe it was Laura was the lady that won, and then it was me, and then it was Mark, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's how it was. So we were all so close together. It was crazy. But man, what a game this is. Many different choices along the way. Do I want to pitch a tent? And then it gets really crazy towards the end of the game. It costs a pretty penny to pitch a tent. I mean, you're going up to $4, $5, and at the very end, $6 just to pitch a tent. You're like, ugh. When back when it was like $1 and $2, it was easy. Then it just starts getting heavier and heavier, and like, oh my gosh. Then you want to, we did have one that pulled out the white rock, but I think no one lost anything. I think Laura had already cashed out all of her stuff, so nobody had any gems that they were holding on to. But it got really low before that white rock got taken. So, but yeah, what a great game. This is a good game. I definitely haven't done this in a long time. I'm giving it my thumbs up approval. Yes, definitely. If you can find this game, get it. This is a great game, and it didn't really take me long to explain it. The only thing I could see, maybe, okay, you get the die. You got to make sure when your turn comes around again that there's a higher die than the one you picked the last round. That's important. And sometimes if I knew, I'm like, especially in a 5-player game we had 10 dice out there. But I knew if I didn't get this highest die, I'm not going to get another row. I'm not going to get another turn. If I pick the lowest die there, No. Oh, I'm not going to get another turn. I'm just going to grab the 6. And I pitch a 10 in the 6, or I'd get $6, or I go ahead and go for 6 gems. Might as well, because it's not going to come back to me. Why am I going to pick the lowest number? I might as well just pick the highest one. They ain't going to come back to me. So, or sometimes you have to rely like, okay, I'm going to assume and they're not going to get those 2 higher ones. So hopefully they'll be back when they come around. Maybe not. I might not have another turn this round. Cool. I mean, it doesn't look much when you start playing, but man, I tell you, there's some things you really think about in this game. And I tell you, definitely, like I said earlier, thumbs up. Let me know if you have this game. If you have it, if you played it, let me know. It is on BGA. It is on Board Game Arena, but I have yet to find anybody to play it. I go in there and it takes forever. No one ever goes in there. So if you're on BGA, you see Board Game Man is on there, get my friend request on there. Let's play this doggone thing on BGA. I have not had the opportunity to play it on there, and I really would love to see how it looks on BGA, how they've done it and stuff. So, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support as always. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the episode, and let me know. Have you played it? Put in the notes down below. Maybe you haven't seen it. Maybe you never even heard of it. And maybe hopefully it will spark your interest in maybe looking into getting it. So I wish I could tell you where I got this. It has been so long ago, and it was a brand new copy. It was sealed. That I do remember. I don't remember how much I paid for it, though, and where I got it. I honestly don't remember. It's been a while. That's how long I've had this game. And finally, for some reason, I had seen it somewhere, and I'm like, oh, that's right, I had that game. And that's when I looked up on YouTube, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going all in. I want to bring this out. And everybody seemed to really enjoy this game. So, all right, thank you so much for watching. And as always, happy gaming.